So, good morning, everybody. Today, we're going to proceed with our Ducks in a Row series. And this time, we're going to do the medical and health side of things. So, this section has a fair number of forms compared to other sections. And so, I want to go through that with you and really show you how to, number one, protect yourself, but number two, how to make life really easy when you're going to the doctor or any health and wellness practitioner. So we'll start with, I'll share the screen. And of course, the first document that we're going to look at, as we do each week, is the DocuFind. So in my health, this is a 2-page document. So I'm going to run through these a bit, and then we'll look at the particular forms. So today we're going to cover, I'll show you a special instructions form. We're also going to cover a child's emergency medical treatment, whether you have a child or you babysit for a child or you have grandchildren. This is really, really important. Again, remember, if something does not apply to you, you make sure that you check that box. So if there's no children in your life that you're watching, you would check not applicable. If the form isn't completed yet and you want to do it, you want to make sure to check pending, and then once it's complete and in your binder system, it's checked as complete, and you would say where it is. So if you are using a binder system, you'd say in the binder, or if you're not, a particular file, folder, under the bed or wherever you're keeping things. So you have to be specific about where people can find these documents. Then you would make a copy of your, if you have dental insurance, you would make a copy of the card and keep the policy there. If you have any kind of disability insurance, we're going to review the doctor and medical contacts, health and wellness contacts, who your durable power of attorney is for your health care, and that document, that signed, completed document here as well. There's something also available called the 5 wishes. 5 wishes is like a living will, where you can really write out very specifically how you want things to happen. They cost, I think, a couple of dollars, and you can order them online. The 5 wishes is Dignity and Aging, I think, is the organization that puts that out. If you have something like a flexible spending account, you would put the information in here, copy of the card. We're also going to do a form about your health history in your family as well as yourself. Same with the flexible spending. If you have a health savings account, you would also do the same, card and information or policy. Your immunization records. This is something that adults neglect in a lot of ways, and it is a good idea as we look at vaccines that have come onto the market for older adults. Of course, there's the flu vaccine. There's now the shingles, or Shingrix is the vaccine that's available for shingles. There's pneumonia vaccines. And then also they're recommending sometimes certain boosters, that things we've had as children. If you have grandchildren being born, you may want to renew certain vaccines, and this is something to check with your doctor. The living will or advance directive, the long-term care insurance policies. The living will is a legal document. The long-term care insurance policy is something that not everyone has or can afford. They're pretty expensive. Medicaid information or Medicare information, your card and policy information, any medical receipts or insurance statements that you might want to keep track of. If you have medical supplies or device records, some people may have a pacemaker or something like that, or some devices where there's a certain device that you have and there's a number and a record for that. Here again is, oh, I've repeated this. So the Medicare insurance card and policy is on here twice. So, oh, I'm sorry, medical insurance card. And so if you have a private medical insurance versus Medicare, two different things. And then any gap or supplemental policy that you would have if you had Medicare. And then your prescription information, we'll go over that in a form. You would also put in this section, and like I said, any supplemental insurance. This vial of life is very interesting. Some communities have this through the fire department. And what it is, it's like a little pill bottle, and you keep it, so all the medical information rather, and prescription information is put in this vial, and it's put inside your refrigerator, on the refrigerator door in one of the top shelves. And you put a little sticker on the outside of your refrigerator saying that this is where your medical information is. You can order one of these vial of life. So again, really inexpensive. A lot of, if communities do them, they'll give it to you for free. But again, first responders know about this and know to look for it. So if they were to come to your home and you're unconscious, or you're really just not clear, what, if they're asking you questions, and they can be looking for that in the refrigerator. So again, we'll continue with vision. If you have vision insurance, whatever the information you have about that, and any workman's compensation insurance. So that would be all the documents. And of course, there's room for more for you to add if you have something that's unique to you, that you would put in this section, either in your binder, or if you're using a file folder system or whatever system that you use. So this is the My Health section, and these are the basic documents that need to go into that. So with that, we'll go on to the first document here. Oh, and I've been mentioning this in each section. Each section has a special instructions page that can go in right after the DocuFind. So the DocuFind, the document we just looked at, that would be your first page in this section, and any special instructions that you wanted to put in here, you would have as your second page. So here's the babysitter checklist and emergency release form that I mentioned. So let's just say that you're babysitting for a grandchild or a child, in your family, and something happens, and the parents are, you've called them on their cell, you've tried everything to reach them, and you cannot reach them. So you want to take this child to the emergency room to be checked out. And, so is that couple going to give you, or are those parents going to give you authorization to do that? And if so, this is the document that you would use. So let's just say I was babysitting for my grandchildren, and something happened to one of them, and I was given by my daughter and son-in-law permission to take them to the hospital and have them checked out. This is a form that tells you at the very bottom, so we're going to address the bottom first, the child's full legal name, the birth date of the child, and so any licensed physician, dentist, or hospital may give necessary medical service to my child at the request of the person bearing this consent form. So you can put in, so my name, say Judy Ruff, at the request of my daughter, Christina, and she would put her full name there, and then the dates of the release. So it could be for the specific date that I'm babysitting, or it could be a range of time. So it could say, from the date the child was even born to the present time. And so this would help you get that child immediate assistance when you are not the guardian or parent of that child. And then when someone's having you babysit, so where can they be reached? What is the location? What is the phone? When do they expect to be home? Who to call if you can't reach me? So secondary people. And then some specific information about the child. What can they eat and when? What can they watch on TV and when? Now it actually needs to be updated with, can they use electronic devices? Things like that. What does the child need to do? The bedtime. In case of discipline problems, what do you do? In case of emergency, closer, major. A lot of times, this is one of the most common problems. Babysitters many times have no idea of the address that they are at. So putting the address, the full name of the family, the legal names, and the address that they're babysitting at. If we did a poll one time asking babysitters, did they know the address of where they were babysitting, and the answer was no. They might have known the street or whatever. Many times there are younger babysitters who are taken to, picked up, dropped off, all of that, and they really don't know where they are. Obviously, they would not be able to do anything in the emergency release unless they're an adult over 18 and they've been authorized by the parents to do anything in the case of an emergency other than call 911. And so what is the closest intersection? What is the nearest hospital or the preferred hospital if you are an adult authorized to take a child to the hospital? So these are just things to think about. What is the insurance information? You might want to include the copy of the insurance card with this. And the insured's name and ID, group ID, and policy number. So it's just, so some of this can be filled out, way in advance and be permanently on here. Other things could potentially be filled out in case of, at the exact time that the babysitting is occurring. This is something that people really overlook. And if there is an emergency, there could be major problems or delay in the treatment of the child. So that we don't ever want that to happen. So any questions about babysitting? You good, Kath? Okay. So the next one is also, this is 2 pages, but you certainly can make as many copies of this as you'd like. So in the case of your health, maintaining the list of who are your providers of various types of health and wellness treatments. So who is your primary care doctor? What is the contact information for them? Any other type of specialists. So there are different medical specialists. There's a place to put the name as well as enough information for the specialty. What is your pharmacy? And, is it a pharmacy that's local? And then you can also duplicate and put in, if you have an online pharmacy as well. Do you have a choice of hospital that you would prefer to go to or be taken to? Any additional notes here? Page 2 has the dentist or dental specialist, optical, any alternative medicine, an acupuncturist, whatever, and some others. But like I said, you can make as many copies of these pages as you need, and keep a good list of who your healthcare providers are and any wellness providers. So that's pretty straightforward. So the next thing sometimes can be a little difficult to figure out. If you know, so this would be a place for your name and your date of birth. But then you would start to put in people that you maybe know, the relationship, like, so if you know medical history about your parents or your siblings or your children, you would put, sister, brother, whatever. And if they had a specific condition, procedure, or surgery, and then what was the outcome. Also within this health history, you might want to put, that say like your father or your mother, the age, and then when they were deceased. So you're getting a lot of information here. Sometimes, actually, November is National Healthcare Month. And so it's kind of neat to even send this form around to your family members and say, hey, if you fill this out, information about yourself, and then we share it with each other, say as siblings or close relatives. It really helps. It helps in terms of a doctor understanding what your family history is and taking care of your health in the best way possible. So like I said, again, it's not always easy. It's not always easy to go back far with this, but whatever you can be a detective and find out or figure out is helpful to you and to your other family members. So now this is a similar form, but it's for you. So the health history, if you know your blood, you can find out your blood type. Again, you'd put your name, date of birth, blood type up here, and then try to keep track of major conditions, procedures, or surgeries. So nothing, I'm not talking about like, oh, I got the flu or something like that. It doesn't have to be, I have a cold or whatever, but things that are more dominant in your health and that you also would want to share with your close family. If you can recall the date or minimally the year that it happened, what was the outcome? Like say you had an appendectomy and you knew it was about this year, and outcome was, it was taken care of. It was fine. Maybe if you can recall the provider and if there was a phone number that you knew for the provider. If not, you just fill out what you do know. So it gives an idea. And then once you've got these, it's a great thing to give and ask your primary care physician to just keep this in their file on you, so they have this information. Now the next one is really important. I actually don't use this particular form. I use an Excel spreadsheet, but you can do either one. I keep a list of my prescriptions. If I can recall the date that they were originally prescribed, and I'm talking about prescriptions that you take regularly, so not, again, if you were given an antibiotic for, a bacterial infection that you had, no, I'm not talking about that kind of thing. This would be, let's say if you had high blood pressure and you were given that, so in your 60s, you started taking, so you think it's about a certain year, and then look at the bottle. So what's the actual prescription? What is it called based on the bottle? What is the dose? What is it for? So you put high blood pressure, and, Dr. Smith is the provider, and if you have the phone number for that doctor. This form is great too, because you just down at the bottom here, so you put your pharmacy, the phone and fax number. Do you have any allergies or medical alerts? Are you diabetic? Are you allergic to peanuts or, anything like that? And who's your primary care doctor and their phone and fax? So Again, this is a great form. I keep a copy not only in the binder, but in my wallet. Again, if anything were to happen to me, a first responder, I put it in a spot in my wallet that can be seen, and that they know that, I just fold it up, but I make sure that it says prescription information on there. Also, I put the primary prescriptions up here. I usually skip a line, and then I would put, like if you take a supplement like a baby aspirin or fish oil or whatever, vitamin D, things like that that are not a prescription, also list on here. So those are the forms, and I will stop the share. Those are the forms within the My Health section. And as we talked about on the DocuFine, the other things would be items that you would already possess and either make a copy of, or if it was a policy, you can put the original in your binder or your folder system. And then that is really the primary health information that you need to pull together. So it is pretty straightforward and wonderful to share with your trusted representative, and especially with certain family members when it comes to family health history and your own health history. So that is pretty much it. And do you have any questions or comments? Okay. So if no questions or comments, that's it for today. And we will proceed next week with our next sections, and we'll keep going until you have all your ducks in a row. Okay, bye-bye.